During a quiet movie night at home, my boyfriend, Ethan, fell asleep on the couch with his phone unlocked. Messages kept lighting up on the screen, all from someone saved as project partner. The messages were casual at first, but then they turned into things like, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow," and "Last night was amazing. Miss your touch already." We'd been together for 3 years and just committed to a house. My heart began racing as I gently placed his phone back down and covered him with a blanket like nothing had happened. Yesterday, my phone had blown up with 40 to increasingly frantic texts from Ethan. He and I had been together for over 3 years, and we just signed the papers for a cute bungalow we had picked out. We'd already chosen names for our future kids, had a joint Netflix account, and of course, the obligatory Costco card, pretty much a millennial couple's version of tying the knot, right? So Friday nights had always been our thing. We'd order in, make a big bowl of popcorn and wind down. It was the highlight of every week. This Friday, though, Ethan picked a documentary on the stock market. Not my cup of tea, and by the time I looked over at him, 45 minutes later, he had completely passed out on the couch. To be honest, I wasn't surprised. He'd been working crazy hours lately, claiming it was for a huge project at work. I thought about waking him, but then his phone buzzed again, lighting up on the coffee table, and again, and again. His phone was unlocked. The messages were just sitting there, waiting for me. At first, I didn't think much of it. But then I read, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow," and "Last night was amazing. Miss your touch already." My chest tightened, and it felt like the floor dropped beneath me. 3 years, all the plans, the promises, the "I'm so lucky to have you" speeches. Was it all a lie? I know it was wrong, but I grabbed his phone and scrolled through the messages. I can't explain why I did it, but I had to know. And what I found, it was worse than I could have imagined. It wasn't just some innocent flirting, it was full-on plans for hotel meetups, explicit texts, and even photos. Based on the timestamps, this had been going on for at least 2 months. There were texts where Ethan talked about me, how he was trying to keep both of us happy and manage the situation. Like cheating on me wasn't already a huge betrayal. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw his phone out the window. But instead, I did something I didn't even know I was capable of. I stayed calm. I put his phone back exactly where I found it, tucked the blanket around him like a loving girlfriend would, and retreated to the bathroom where I had my first real panic attack in years. I didn't confront him that night. I needed time to think, to process. The next morning was surreal. Ethan woke up, kissed my forehead, and acted like everything was fine. He made me breakfast, talked about paint colors for our new house like nothing had changed. I could hardly breathe, but somehow I smiled and nodded, pretending nothing was wrong. As soon as he left for his Saturday workout, which, looking back, was probably when he met up with project partner, I called my best friend Lily. She came over right away, and we spent hours pouring through everything I could remember from those messages. Lily suggested we dig a little deeper. Ethan and I shared a credit card for household expenses, so we logged into the account. What we found made me sick. There were charges for dinners at places I'd never heard of, Uber rides at strange hours, and a hotel bill from the weekend he claimed to be on a business trip. Every single doubt I'd pushed aside over the last few months suddenly made sense. The late nights, the weird work emergencies, the new cologne he'd been wearing, the pieces all came together. But now I needed to know what to do. I didn't want to just confront him and have him deny everything, minimizing the betrayal. I didn't want to just walk away, letting him tell some story about how things weren't working out. I needed him to feel the same gut-wrenching pain I was feeling. I wanted him to understand exactly what he had thrown away. Lily suggested I gather more proof before confronting him. She thought I should keep pretending everything was fine while I figured out a plan. So, that day, I played the role of the perfect girlfriend, made his favorite dinner, acted normal while he texted, and smiled at his phone, all while knowing exactly who he was texting. Even initiated intimacy, which made me want to gag afterward, just to keep the facade intact. This morning, I casually mentioned that I might have to fly out for a leadership seminar next weekend, and Ethan's whole posture shifted. He tried to act chill, but I saw the flicker of excitement behind his eyes at the thought of having the apartment to himself. It told me everything I needed to know. So here's the plan. I'll pretend I'm on that trip, but in reality, I'll be staying at Lily's condo in Eastwood. I have a strong hunch he's going to invite project partner over, and when he does well, that's when I make my move. I'm not usually one for revenge, but after 3 years of loyalty, sacrifice, and love, something inside me cracked. I can't just vanish quietly while he gets to rewrite the narrative and play the victim. Edit. For those asking, yes, I've saved every receipt, message, and transaction, including the credit card logs. And no, nothing illegal is on the table. I just want him to experience the weight of what he's done. Edit 2. Some of y'all are asking about the bungalow we haven't closed yet. The funds are still sitting in escrow, and I've already looped in a legal rep to explore options. I'm protecting my assets, trust me. Edit 3. I see some comments saying, I'm being manipulative by staging this instead of confronting him directly. Maybe I am, but after 3 years of commitment to someone leading a double life, can you really blame me for wanting at least one moment of clarity and control? Update. Wow, I didn't expect my last post to get the traction it did. I read every comment and message you all sent, and I can't thank you enough for the support. Seriously, it's what's helped me hold it together this week. It's now been a full week since I found out about Ethan's betrayal, and let me tell you, living this double life is exhausting. On the outside, I'm still the same devoted girlfriend excited about backsplash tiles and color palettes for our soon-to-be home. But behind the scenes, I've turned into a full-on forensic detective, gathering evidence and building my exit. Per your suggestions, I met with a financial advisor on Monday, told Ethan I was grabbing lunch with my old coworker. The advisor confirmed what a lot of you said I needed to secure myself, especially since most of the home deposit came from me. She helped draft a letter for the escrow account. It's ready to go. I haven't sent it yet, but I will. I also opened a new checking account at an unrelated credit union and began quietly transferring funds for emergency use. Edit. For those yelling theft, no, it's not. I earned that money. I deposited it. I'm securing what's mine. Here's where it gets interesting. Ethan works in digital branding. On Tuesday, they had their monthly team hangout, and plus ones were invited. I normally skip these, they're a drag. But this time, I showed up in heels and war paint. From the jump, I noticed him hovering around one woman in particular, dark hair, glasses, a navy blouse. He was magnetic around her, laughing louder, touching his face more. At one point, I faked a bathroom trip and came back in through the other door, found them tucked in a corner booth, whispering, leaning in close. They jumped apart when another coworker walked by. Instead of rage, I played dumb, complimented her earrings, which were definitely not from Claire's, and asked if she was new. She said she'd just relocated from Seattle for the job. It lined up a little too perfectly. On Wednesday, I took another suggestion from y'all. I checked our mobile carrier's shared dashboard. Turns out, every Tuesday and Thursday, those supposed late nights at the office, his location was pinging from an apartment complex across the city. A quick Google search linked it to a name I recognized from his project partner chat's gold mine. I also dug up some of our shared account statements from last year, right when we started saving for the house. Dinner spots we never went to, boutique wine shops, a jewelry store purchase last month. I haven't received a single piece of jewelry from Ethan since maybe last spring. Edit. Some folks asked if maybe it was a surprise. Nope. The date of that charge? February 13th. I got a card for Valentine's Day. Just a card. I checked his phone again last night. Project partner thread was gone, but there was a new chat labeled Beater. Definitely Dina. They were texting about next weekend right when I'm out of town. So here's the final plan. I told Ethan I fly out Thursday evening for a health administration summit in Dallas. Makes sense, my job in clinic operations makes that believable. In truth, I'll be at Lily's place in Eastwood, monitoring everything through the doorbell cam I installed last month. Let's see how this plays out. I've already been slowly moving personal items to Lily's, printing 4 copies of all the evidence I've documented, and quietly preparing for what might be the most important conversation of my life. A lot of you dropped some wild revenge ideas in the comments, and while I admire the creativity, I've decided to aim for something deeper. I don't want some petty shock moment. I want Ethan to feel the loss, not just of me but of everything we built, everything he took for granted. Our future, his stability, his credibility. The hardest part? I still remember the way he surprised me with tickets to my favorite artists, the man I once believed I'd grow old with. Then I remember the texts, the cover-ups, the double life, and all I feel now is a calm, focused drive. Am I doing the right thing, Reddit? He's stolen so much: my faith, my timeline, the feeling of being safe with someone. I just want to reclaim a little control over the ending. Edit. Yes, I got tested for STIs. Everything came back clean so far. And yes, every single thing has been archived for potential legal use. I've dotted every I and crossed every T. So picking up from last Thursday, I kissed Ethan goodbye, overnight bag in hand, supposedly off to a healthcare summit in Dallas. He even helped carry it to the car, told me to stay warm and that he'd just be catching up on projects while I was gone. The audacity this man has to lie like that, straight-faced. I drove a few blocks away, circled back, then headed straight to Lily's place. We turned her living room into Command Central snacks. Caffeine, backup chargers, the whole setup. About an hour later, she nudged me. "It's her," she whispered. Dina, looking like a walking Pinterest board. Black dress I definitely couldn't afford, wine bottle in hand, and an overnight bag slung over her shoulder. Ethan greeted her at our front door with a kiss. Not a casual one, the kind that makes your stomach drop. They didn't even make it through the threshold before they were groping each other. That was the moment something in me clicked. Lily noticed it too. She said my face just changed like a switch flipped. I wasn't heartbroken anymore. I was done. And then I did something I never expected myself to do. I opened the live feed from the doorbell cam. Every time they crossed into view: balcony wine, dinner delivery, a midnight cigarette, I documented it. And then I pushed further. That night, I took my old iPhone and climbed out onto the balcony of our second-floor unit. With Lily's brother on lookout, I mounted the phone where it had a clean line of sight into the bedroom, right through the sliver of curtain Ethan never bothers to close properly. I had to know. I had to see. Before leaving for Lily's, I had done one final walkthrough of the apartment, and what I found stayed with me. Her brush and highlighter palette sitting on my vanity, 2 wine glasses in the sink, and the bedroom? Let's just say their little sleepover left very clear signs behind. I left my key on the counter next to a tidy folder with a few screenshots of texts, hotel receipts, and some clipped credit card charges. Just enough for Ethan to realize I hadn't been blind. I didn't go back to our place. I stayed at Lily's, but then I made a mistake. I forgot to block my work email. That was the crack he slithered through. First email, 12:34 p.m. Gloria, where are you? I came home for lunch and your stuff's gone. What's going on? Please call me. Second, 12:46 p.m. I saw the docs you left. It's not what you think. Just hear me out. Third, 1:03 p.m. I know I've screwed up, but please don't throw away 3 years over a misunderstanding. Thankfully, Lily hadn't told him I was crashing with her. But Ethan? He wasn't done. He showed up at my office making a scene so big my boss almost called building security. The sheer audacity. Acting like I was the one who betrayed him. That's when the last thread of restraint snapped. I did it. I finally pulled the trigger. I compiled everything: doorbell cam footage, balcony video, the audio where they joked about me, uploaded it to a private folder and sent the link to his parents. Edit. to the people saying that was too much. But I got a message later from a mutual friend saying Ethan was sobbing about how I'd ruined his life. And how could you do this to me and send it to my parents? But I wasn't finished yet. I also sent it to his boss, not out of spite, but because the company has a strict policy against office relationships, especially with direct reports. And yes, they were using work devices. Edit for clarity. Ethan had just been promoted. They were conducting this entire affair during work hours, on company Slack and hotel receipts billed under the corporate card. 3 years, and I was supposed to just vanish quietly? Let people think I was unstable? No, maybe tell them the truth. You're a liar who got caught. Saturday morning, Dina messaged me on Instagram. Now blocked. Her tone? Not sorry, furious. Apparently HR had called her in for an urgent meeting, and she was facing suspension or worse. She accused me of blowing things out of proportion and acting like a child. Oh, you mean exposing the fact that your affair partner was living a double life and planning to marry me? I won't apologize for refusing to carry the shame he created. Saturday evening, I got a call from Ethan's mom. I had forgotten to block her. To my shock, she wasn't angry. She was heartbroken. She thanked me, said she never would have believed it if she hadn't seen it for herself, said she was ashamed of what her son had done, and that their family would be having a very real conversation with him. That call left me shaken, but it also gave me a kind of closure. I don't know where I'll go next, but at least now I know I can. But I'm not sure I do want to. That apartment is haunted by memories I'm not ready to face alone. I'm thinking of finding a new place entirely. I've also decided to take a full week off work to clear my head. My manager was surprisingly kind once I explained the basics. As for the bungalow, the escrow team confirmed they received my withdrawal notice. I'll lose a bit of the deposit, but that's a small price for freedom. No explanation that would somehow make what he did seem justifiable. Edit 2. For those saying I went too far with the footage. But after being deceived for months while building a future together, I needed Ethan to face real fallout, not just a sad breakup he could twist however he liked. Edit 3. Quite a few asked for the recordings. Absolutely not. I didn't create them for entertainment or to ruin Ethan's life. I sent them only to people who needed to see the truth. I was hiding out at Lily's apartment, unpacking the wreckage of my own choices. A lot of you asked if I ever faced him in person after all that, and the answer is yes, but not in the way or place I expected. About a week after I shared the folder, I was sipping coffee at this tiny cafe across town, carefully picked because Ethan would never be caught dead there. Too boho for his taste, lol. I was journaling, something my therapist had suggested, when I heard someone say my name. I looked up and it was him, the first real eye contact we'd had in months, maybe ever. I just listened while he tried to justify himself. The thing with Dina had started as harmless flirting at work, then drinks after those late calls, and eventually, well, you get it. He insisted he never meant for it to go there, said he was overwhelmed by the house stuff, that he still loved me but had lost sight in the adrenaline, gagged me. But then he circled back to what I had done, sharing the link with his family and employer, and to my surprise, he wasn't furious. After he finished rambling, I asked only one question. If I hadn't figured it out, and hadn't exposed everything, how long would you have lied to my face every single day? He stayed silent, and that said it all. I told him calmly that while I was glad he came clean now, it was too late. That it wasn't just cheating, it was robbing me of my time, my belief, and my foundation of trust. That while he was chasing distractions, I was investing in our life, thinking it was real when it had already been tainted. As for practical matters, I signed a lease on a charming studio apartment. That's mine alone, and filled it with everything that makes me happy. Unraveled the financial knots from the cancelled escrow. Lost a little money, but kept most of the funds. Started therapy twice a week. Best call I've made in years. Leaned hard on friends who came through more than I expected. As for Dina, popped up again nearly 2 months after it all came crashing down. Turns out, post her review and all the office chaos, she opted to relocate to the company's Denver branch for a do-over. Even after probation passed, the workplace was too weird, with everyone whispering about her and Ethan. And the footage I had sent, his supervisor apparently gave him two options: transfer or resign. He picked transfer. Ethan's parents still check in from time to time, oddly enough. They were deeply disturbed by what I showed them, but after digesting everything, they've kept some contact with me. I recently found an old birthday card from Ethan. It read, "To many more years of love and laughter." A few months ago, that would have shattered me. This time, I just shook my head and tossed it. Edit: for those wondering if I still have the recordings. Yes, but they're password locked and buried. No one else will ever view them. They served their purpose, and I have no need to reopen those wounds. Edit 2. Just to clarify, since so many asked, yes, I'm legally and financially fully separated from Ethan now. No shared accounts. No shared debts. Clean break. Edit 3. To the person who DM'd me saying, "I'm broken now, and no guy will love me who hurt you." Actually, don't answer that. Just do better. Edit 4. For those asking if I regret sending the recordings to his boss, maybe a little. But Ethan using his affair with Dina to climb the ladder, while Marcus, who has 2 kids and a sick mom, got overlooked, that needed to come out too. Little but Ethan using his affair with Dina to climb the ladder, while Marcus, who has 2 kids and a sick mom, got overlooked, that needed to come out too. I'm not sure what comes next, but I know it won't involve lies, settling, or shrinking myself for someone else's comfort. This time, I choose peace, truth, and me.